In 2012, a man became China's leader with no votes, no campaign, no debate, no election you could actually watch unfold. Within 10 years, he rewrote the constitution to stay forever. He vanished billionaires. He locked down 400 million people overnight. He became more powerful than Mao, and nobody really stopped him. This is how Xi Jinping took total control of China, and why the world let it happen without a fight. Let's start with something simple. How do you become powerful? In most countries, you win votes or you win a war. But China doesn't work like that, and it never has. The Communist Party controls everything. The government, the military, the economy. 1.5 billion people, but only one party ever wins. So the real question isn't how do you win China? It's how do you win inside the party that runs China? Xi Jinping didn't start at the top, he started underground. Literally. He was sent to a cave village as a teenager. Here's where it gets weird. This wasn't his choice at all. His father was a top communist official who fell out. When the party turns on you, your whole family pays hard. Xi was exiled to rural Shanxi during the Cultural Revolution chaos. He lived in a yaodong, a cave carved into yellow dirt. He shoveled manure, he hauled wheat. He slept with fleas nightly. For 7 years, he had nothing but mud and propaganda. Most people would break. Xi learned how the system worked instead. He saw that survival meant loyalty, patience, and invisible cunning. He joined the Communist Party 8 times before they accepted. 8 rejections. Most people would have quit after 2 or 3. But he understood something crucial. The party is the country. If you want power, you don't fight the system loudly. You become the system, then change it from the inside. Fast forward to the 90s, Xi is climbing the ladder. He's governing provinces, building infrastructure, staying quiet and very disciplined, while other officials get flashy and corrupt. Xi stays boring. He doesn't give interviews. He doesn't make bold, controversial statements. He's the guy nobody fears, which makes him everybody's compromise. In 2007, he's promoted to the Politburo Standing Committee unexpectedly. That's the 9 guys who actually run all of China. Then in 2012, he becomes General Secretary of the party. That's the top job, the one that controls everything real. He's 60 years old and he's just become incredibly dangerous. Here's what most people missed when Xi took over back then. China had spent 30 years getting richer without getting freer. The deal was simple. Don't challenge the party, prosper quietly. Deng Xiaoping, the leader before, believed in collective leadership style. Power was shared, terms were limited, nobody stayed too long. This kept the system stable and prevented another Mao disaster. Xi broke that deal within his first 100 days in charge. He launched an anti-corruption campaign that sounded noble at first. But here's the trick. Everyone in China's government is corrupt. The system basically runs on bribes, gifts, and personal favors. So when Xi goes after corruption, he's really choosing targets. Within 2 years, he purged over 100,000 officials. Not all of them were his enemies, but most were. He didn't just fire them, he disappeared them into custody. Some were shown on TV confessing to crimes they maybe committed. Others vanished entirely, and their families stopped asking questions soon. The message was clear. Challenge me and you lose everything. But Xi didn't just use fear, he used something smarter. He sold himself as the guy who'd make China great. The China dream, national rejuvenation, strength, respect, pride, power. He wasn't just a bureaucrat, he was a story now. Then came 2018 and Xi made his boldest move yet. He changed the constitution to remove his own term limits. Every leader since Mao had served 2 5-year terms. That rule existed specifically to prevent another dictator from emerging. Xi traced it with 1 vote in the National People's Congress. Nearly 3,000 delegates, only 2 voted no. 3 abstained total. The rest clapped and smiled like this was totally normal. Western leaders were shocked, but they didn't do much else. China was too big, too rich, too important to seriously confront. Xi had gambled that the world valued business over values. He was right. Trade continued, investments grew, everyone moved on. Now let's talk about what Xi actually did with power. He didn't just hoard it, he used it to reshape. He cracked down on tech billionaires who got too loud. Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, criticized regulators in public. 3 months later, his company's IPO was canceled without warning. Ma disappeared for weeks, then reappeared looking much quieter suddenly. The lesson: in China, no one is bigger than Xi. Not even the richest man in the entire country combined. Xi also went after entertainment, education, gaming, and private tutoring. Entire industries were kneecapped overnight with sudden new regulations appearing. Why? Because Xi believes capitalism should serve the party first. Then there's Xinjiang, where over 1 million Uyghurs disappeared. Re-education camps, the government calls them with a straight face. Forced labor, surveillance, cultural erasure, it's happening right now today. The world knows satellite images exist, testimonies exist, evidence exists, but most countries stay quiet because China makes everything nowadays. Your phone, your shoes, your medications, probably your laptop too. Xi understood leverage better than any leader in modern history. He made the world so economically dependent it couldn't resist. COVID was the ultimate test of Xi's control over everything. In early 2020, doctors in Wuhan tried to warn people. They were silenced. The virus spread, then it exploded globally. Xi's response? Lock down entire cities with military force instantly. Weld apartment doors shut. Drag people into quarantine camps forcefully. It was brutal, but it worked in reducing spread initially. Western countries tried democracy, debates, protests, personal choice, and chaos. China tried authoritarianism. Obey or suffer, no discussion, total compliance. For a while, it looked like Xi's model worked better. Lower deaths, faster recovery. The economy rebounded before everyone else. Xi used that to claim his system was superior overall. But then he took it too far with zero COVID. For 3 years, China stayed locked down on and off. Even one case meant millions confined to their homes immediately. People couldn't leave, couldn't work, couldn't see dying relatives nearby. The economy started cracking. Youth unemployment hit 20% officially. In November 2022, protests erupted in cities across the country. People held blank papers, a silent scream against censorship. It was the biggest challenge to Xi's rule since forever. And then suddenly he reversed everything within weeks without explanation. Zero COVID ended. Restrictions lifted, the virus spread like wildfire fast. Millions likely died. But the government stopped reporting numbers completely. Xi had blinked, but he'd never admitted out loud. So where does that leave us now in the present? Xi Jinping is 71 and has no clear successor. He's consolidated more power than any Chinese leader since Mao. He's rebuilt the military. He's threatened Taiwan constantly and aggressively. He's challenged American dominance in trade, tech, and global influence. But here's the uncomfortable truth about authoritarian systems like this. They're stable until suddenly they're not. Then they collapse fast. No one inside the party can tell Xi he's wrong. No one can check his decisions or offer real alternatives. He's surrounded by yes-men who fear him more daily. History shows this kind of power doesn't end well usually. Mao's Cultural Revolution killed millions and destroyed China's progress completely. Stalin's purges gutted the Soviet Union's best minds and leaders. When one man controls everything, one man's mistakes become catastrophic. Xi believes he's different, that he's restoring China's greatness. But he's also bet everything on his own judgment alone. And the world is watching, invested, complicit, and slightly terrified. Here's the final thing to understand about Xi's rise clearly. It wasn't an accident, it wasn't luck, it wasn't fate. It was 30 years of patience, strategy, ruthlessness, and timing. He studied the system. He survived the system. He became it. And now he's using it to reshape the entire world. The question isn't whether Xi Jinping is powerful anymore now. The question is what happens when he's finally gone? Who takes over? How does the transition happen without violence? Does the party survive? Does China? Does the world adjust? Xi has no answer because he's not planning to leave. And that might be the most dangerous part of all.